It was supposed to be a normal night. My parents had gone to a wedding in another city, leaving me alone in the house for the first time. I was 17, old enough to handle it, or so I thought. I locked the doors, double-checked the windows, and settled into the couch with a horror movie. A storm raged outside, wind howling through the trees, rain tapping against the windows like impatient fingers. The power flickered once but stayed on. Around 11 p.m., I paused the movie to get a snack. As I walked past the hallway leading to the back door, I felt something, a shift in the air, like I wasn't alone. I told myself it was just nerves, but when I stepped into the kitchen, I froze. The back door was unlocked. I knew I had locked it. My stomach twisted as I reached out and turned the knob, securing it again. I tried to shake off the fear, convincing myself I had just forgotten. But as I turned around, my blood ran cold. The hallway light was off. I had left it on. I wasn't imagining things. Someone was in the house. My breath hitched as I grabbed the largest knife from the kitchen drawer. Every sound, every creak, every rustling leaf outside became deafening. I tiptoed back into the living room and grabbed my phone. No service. The storm must have knocked it out. I had to check the house. Moving slowly, I started with the bathroom, empty. Then my parents' room, nothing. My own room was just as I had left it. I began to think maybe I had just forgotten about the light. Maybe I was letting my imagination get the best of me. Then I saw it. A trail of wet footprints leading from the back door to the hallway. They weren't mine. My chest tightened as I followed them with my eyes. They stopped at the entrance of the guest bedroom, the one I hadn't checked. The door was slightly ajar, darkness pressing against the edges. I raised the knife, my hands shaking. I had to look. Holding my breath, I nudged the door open. The room was empty, but the closet door was open. I knew. I hadn't left it that way. The storm outside roared louder as I reached for the door. My fingers brushed the handle, and in that moment, something moved inside. I didn't wait. I bolted, racing for the front door, fumbling with the locks. Behind me, the closet door creaked open. I could feel someone stepping out. The door finally gave way, and I ran into the night, rain soaking me instantly. I didn't stop until I reached my neighbor's house, pounding on their door. The police came within minutes. They searched my house, but whoever had been inside was gone. The only thing they found was the muddy footprints and a single, horrifying detail. The attic hatch in the hallway was slightly open. I never slept in that house alone again. The police told me it was probably a vagrant or a burglar who had broken in to escape the storm. They reassured me that he must have fled when he realized I was still awake. But that didn't explain everything. The unlocked door, the wet footprints leading only one way, the attic hatch slightly open. My parents came home early the next morning, frantic after hearing what had happened. My dad checked every inch of the house, but everything seemed normal, except for the attic. He climbed up with a flashlight, and when he came back down, his face was pale. "All the insulation is disturbed," he said quietly. "Like someone's been crawling around up there." A shiver ran down my spine. If he had been hiding there, for how long? Days passed. I tried to move on, convincing myself that the intruder had left for good. But little things kept happening. I'd wake up to find cabinets slightly open. Doors I knew I had closed would be ajar. And then there was the sound, the faintest creak above my bedroom late at night. One evening, my mom called me downstairs, her voice trembling. She held up a Polaroid photo. "Where did this come from?" she asked. I took it from her, my heart hammering. It was a picture of me sleeping. The timestamp in the corner was from 3 nights ago. That night, my dad nailed the attic shut. We moved out 2 months later. We never found out who he was. A few years passed. We never spoke about that night again, but I never truly felt safe, no matter where I lived. Every time I heard a faint creak or saw a shadow shift in the corner of my vision, my body tensed with the memory. Then last week, I got a call from my mom. The new owners of our old house were renovating, and when they opened the attic, they found something wedged deep in the insulation. A sleeping bag, empty food wrappers, and a small pile of Polaroid photos. All of me. Some were taken from behind doors, others through windows. And the last one, dated the night before we moved out, was of me, standing in the mirror, brushing my hair. In the reflection, just barely visible behind me in the dark, was a man.